All right, I guess we'll switch things up. We'll move into the NBA a little bit. And the NBA has released their preseason schedule. It's going to start December 11th and run through the 19th. The Pistons have 4 games. So every NBA team is going to have 4 games altogether. We play the New York Knicks and Wizards.
Washington Wizards.
Yep, Washington Wizards. We play both of them twice. We'll be watching those games. We'll be giving updates on those in a couple weeks. And then one other news for the Pistons, we did sign Wayne Ellington, who previously played for us back in 2019 when we had our last playoff appearance and got swept in the first round. Not surprising. He's just another guy. He's kind of a shooter.
That year that we had him, he was a great veteran shooter that we needed.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys watched that season, I remember watching it, and once we signed him, like great off screen, like spot up shooting. He just was a shooter, basically, is all we really brought him in for. He wasn't that great at defense, but
but that's what we needed.
at that time, that I was gonna say, yeah, at that time we needed shooters because we didn't have too many shooters.
Yeah,
on our team.
and that's what the Pistons love to play is that pick and roll. So we need someone who can just come off that roll and hit a shot, either whether it be mid range or out on the three.
So I mean, I don't know where he's gonna fit into the lineup if he even makes the team. I know it was a 1-year deal, so obviously he'll only be here one season.
Yeah.
But this whole roster, like, I don't know how it's gonna fit together. I don't know who's gonna get cut, who's not making the team. Like, we have so many players at every position. Who does what? Who start? It's just so confusing.
How many players do we have at each position right now?
7 forward, 3 centers, 8 guards.
We did waive Dwayne Dedman too. He was another center we had on the team. We traded for him and we ended up waiving him.
Yeah, we waived and stretched his contract, so I think we're gonna be paying him like $5 million for the next 3 or 4 years.
So there's a lot of people, like you said, there's still a lot of moves that are probably gonna be made. Some people either waived and stretched or just moved around a little bit. This is clearly not our final roster. We said this in the last one. I'd like to do like a little roster breakdown and try to figure out who's going to be where, placed where, and play what. But at this point, there's so many pieces we don't even know.
Well, okay, Kellen Hayes, he's not going down to the G League. He's gonna be. Yeah, I think Rose is gonna be the starter, and then I think Hayes is gonna be the backup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think DeLon Wright is probably going to be like there to make sure D Rose doesn't play too many minutes because we got to keep D Rose and Blake Griffin on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a minute restriction. So I do see like DeLon Wright getting minutes just because they don't want to overplay Derrick Rose, but then also Hayes is kind of a rookie, still trying to develop and learn, so he probably won't like come in and just be that automatic like perfect guard, like, oh, I can just come in and start like day one.
Yeah, that's what we said in the last episode about both of them. I think that we're gonna go with more of the veteran front to start the season, and then kind of maybe ease the rookies in a little bit with both Killian Hayes and Isaiah Stewart, which I think will probably be starting by the time the season ends.
And then shooting guard, I maybe DeLon Wright, maybe Zaire Smith. I don't know, maybe Ski Mikhailuk starts at shooting guard. Ronnie McGruder, I don't know. Oh, we also have Saban Lee. I really see Saban Lee probably going to be a G League player this year. I don't really see him getting any minutes in the NBA this season.
Yeah.
And then comes the question about small forward and power forward. Obviously, you're paying Blake Griffin $34 million. Like, obviously, Blake Griffin's going to start if he can play.
Yeah.
But then you're also playing Jeremy Grant $20 million a year. So do you play him at small forward?
I think you kind of have to. Like you said, depending on how we want to play, if we're doing small ball or if we want to run big ball and run all big guys.
But then another person we have is Sekou Doumbouya.
I was just about to bring him up too.
He did okay last season. Like, he wasn't great, but he definitely showed that he has potential.
A lot of potential, yeah.
And he's been just working out all the time this offseason. He was working out with KD earlier in the offseason. So I don't know, like, do we try to trade Blake Griffin at the trade deadline and then have Sekou and Jeremiah Grant start? It's just, like, there's so many questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
this roster.
That's the thing. We're still in November, which normally would be part of the way through the season right now. But obviously, all the stuff with what's happened and everything that's going on in the world right now, it's different. But either way, we still have a couple weeks before this preseason begins. So we're not even going to know who's going to be on the main roster or the G League roster until come December 19th, 20th, when they figure out the final roster. And again, once we start watching some preseason games, we might get a little bit of an idea on who's playing well, who's showing out, who looks more improved from last next year. Maybe the rookies might actually step up and win the starting role. Who knows? Yeah, we got a lot of time before we can try to figure all that out.
This is going to be either all these guys are just going to come in and gel really well together, and we're going to sneak into the playoffs like a lower seed in the East, because the East is not very good.
Yeah.
It's just going to look like a disaster, and we're going to be terrible, and we're going to get a high draft pick.
Well, when you literally clean house and bring in almost a completely new group, you have to expect there's going to be some flaws at first. And like you said, no, it is possible they all come together. They start playing immediately well. I think it's going to take some time. We're going to have some growing pains, but I think Coach Casey is good at getting the most out of his players, and he's going to coach them up.
Dwayne Casey is one of the best coaches in the NBA. Like, yeah, his record, obviously with us, isn't going to go to show it, but like the way he's been able to develop players is extremely well, and that's why like I love the signing. Like, a lot of people are saying like all this stuff, they hate the Isaiah Stewart draft, that was bad. I've heard a lot of NBA scouts said that he was one of the fastest players in this draft that can't shoot, that can develop a shot, because it's all about his footwork and his mechanics and everything, and his mechanics and footwork are amazing. So don't be surprised if Isaiah Stewart, maybe not this season, but 2-3 seasons down the road, does develop a 3-point shot.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I think we're going to have a little bit of growing pains. It's going to take a little while. But yeah, like I said, I think that's going to do it for today. Pistons is not really going to, unless they make some more moves or stuff, we don't really have much to talk about. Again, we can't really evaluate the roster till we know who's going to be there, because we still think a lot of people might get signed and waived or
traded.
Waived it. Yeah, traded or waived.
Another thing, if any of you didn't hear about it, the Pistons did reach out to the Washington Wizards about trading Blake Griffin for John Wall, because their contracts match up, and John Wall wants out of Washington. Obviously, the trade got declined.
I wouldn't like that. Again, we've talked about it before. Blake Griffin, when he's healthy, he's still an all-star forward, and John Wall is not what he used to be, dude. He's getting older. You can see it in his.
He's been injured the past 2 years.
Exactly, and
so you don't know what he's like.
I just don't. He's older, and 2010. So the year after Blake came in. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't have been happy.
I just didn't understand it, because like it would have gave us another guard. So then like you have Killian Hayes, Derrick Rose, and John Wall. Like,
I don't know.
It just didn't make sense. But then also like we were just talking about, our forwards and centers are also clogged, so it's like,
yeah, there's a lot of questions surrounding the team. So like I said, hopefully preseason will answer a lot of those questions, and we'll know a little bit more come closer to the season.